Have you started
That looks good now, yeah.
But can you edit it?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so I first met Sahaja in about 1978 or 79, I don't remember the exact year. Let's go for 78, I think it's 78. And she was doing a talk at Dr. Johnson House in Birmingham. And how that came about that I went is that I was with my now wife, and she was my partner at the time, and we were attending a normal yoga class. And she said, you know, we both said, yeah, well, we'll go along and have a listen to this person, because prior to that we were just doing yoga exercises. So we went to the talk at Dr. Johnson House, and I think it was quite, I remember it being around about 6, 7 o'clock, and it was summer, and so it's around about September, July, I don't remember exactly. And I remember listening to the talk and thinking, this is a person who talks like Jesus Christ. So what do I mean by that? She was talking without saying, well, I think it's like this and I think it's like that. She just spoke absolutely directly, and you all had the feeling that it was the truth. So you weren't analysing it, you just felt this is the truth. So after that, she did the self-realisation exercise, and I remember for the first time in my life being thoughtless. And prior to that, at college and just in my life, I was a bit of a live wire. I was always doing this, that, the other, dashing about. So to be thoughtless was very nice. And after that initial meeting, I knew that I'd stopped seeking, and what do I mean by that? Prior to that, I was dabbling in the different churches and looking at Buddhism and reading that and looking at the spiritualists and the Christians, and I couldn't get any joy from that. And after that night, I realised that my seeking had finished, and that's how I came into Sahaja.
What about the story? Because I think you drifted off for a little while, didn't you, when you had kids and stuff,
yeah.
and then when you came back to Sahaja, that story, when you found the talk about Sahaja.
That's really interesting. That so, I went to the Birmingham Sahaja Yoga meeting for about 2 years, and then I'd even say on and off, so I wasn't massively regular at that meeting. And then we had kids, and we were at that time living in Coventry. We'd moved away from Birmingham, we were in Coventry. And there was just one day that the elements conspired, and what happened was this. My wife was working somewhere, and she'd taken the radio with her, and in them days there wasn't really afternoon TV, so I wasn't watching TV. And all that was left for me was a cassette player of audio tapes. So I thought, okay, I'll just play an audio tape. So I pulled out this very same tape, audio tape, cassette, if anybody remembers them, and I put it into the player, and it was the same talk that I'd heard in 1978, 79. At Dr. Johnson House, yeah. So I put this tape in, and this tells you something about the balance as well, because normally I'm incredibly speedy, and I had a bit of flu. And the flu had actually brought me into the middle while I was listening to the audio tape. Yeah, I'd actually gone into balance quite by accident and listening to this tape. Anyway, after I'd listened to this tape, I thought, oh my God, I understand completely and utterly everything that Sahaja said in the tape. And when Francis got in, I said, look, I'm the spirit. I said, I know I'm not painted blue and you can't really see a difference in me, but I am the spirit. I have become the spirit. And I knew everything that the Bible meant, everything, any spiritual saying or anything, I just knew directly what that meant and how it should be and what should happen. And added to that, I started to get these things that happened every day. So, dare I describe them, or will it sound too fantastic?
Why not?
Okay, so I'll describe it. So we had this old piano, and I decided to burn it in the back garden. So at 25, I was quite strong enough to get a piano up the garden. I wouldn't be now. But I dragged this piano up the garden, and I set fire to it. And it started to die down to just a few burning embers. And I just blew on it gently. you know, from yards away, and it blew into flames again. I thought, oh my God, we can control the elements. This is ridiculous. And I understood what people were going to say before they said it to me. So if somebody was going to say something to me, I might even stop them and say, look, that's not a nice thing to say to me. And there's all kinds of little things going on that in my psyche. One of them was at school. I was at school and I was teaching. I was on supply. And these kids, you know, because I always tried to take advantage of the supply teacher, tried to sneak in via another door into the room where all the books are kept, you know, and steal books, blank books, exercise books. And I walked in at the exact same time, and it was all coincidence after coincidence after coincidence, and just everything would go my way, and I'd just understand what people were thinking, how they were thinking, what was going to happen, and it was fantastic. And that lasted 3 weeks. And the biggest thing that happened was an asthma. I suffered from asthma. And I used to take one of those Ventolin inhalers 20 times a day. And for 3 weeks, I never had any asthma whatsoever. Finito.